What's going on, guys? So today I've got the long discussion about the Warhammer Online Shutdown video, which I promised you guys. How long this is going to be, I don't know, but really I'm just going to go more in depth, I think, more than anything, about my thoughts on this. So, if you've been living under a rock, Warhammer Online is shutting down on December the 18th. Now, I'd just like to point out straight away, I will be returning to Warhammer Online for the last 2 months. I bought a 60-day prepaid game card from play.com. If you want to do that, they're really cheap on there. I think I got mine for £13 for 60 days, so that's a really good saving. So I bought that. I'll be resubscribing on October the 18th. Well, actually, it'll be the 19th to make sure that carries on over to the very last day of shutdown. And I'll be playing then, and hopefully we can get some last footage up for you guys as well. So, yeah, I'm going to be resubscribing. October 18th, 19th is when I'll be in-game. I will let you know as soon as I'm in-game, so hopefully I meet up with some of you guys if you're still playing as well. But today I'm just going to talk about my thoughts a bit more in depth about this. So, a couple of people said, how did you know Warhammer Online was going to shut down? Like, did you have some inside knowledge? No, it was extremely obvious that this game was going to shut down. I knew immediately it was going to shut down 3 months ago. Well, over 3 months ago now, when they posted up on their website that they were getting rid of the 3-month game time cards because, and I quote, they said it was because after a recent review of their account center, they found interest in the 3-month game time cards were down. Now, that is a complete lie, and that's just one thing that they've just lied about completely. Because anyone who was still subscribed, they're the real hardcore fans, right? And so they're going to be buying the 3-month game time cards to save money. The only reason they got rid of them is because they didn't want people subscribing for 3 months because they knew they were going to shut down before 3 months. So that was the reason. So then they decided to shut down. So that was that. They didn't get that because interest was down. I bet they were more popular than the other game time cards. It's just that they knew they were going to shut down then, and I'm probably sure they knew they were going to shut down even before then. But there we go. So yeah, I kind of knew it was going to shut down then, and I expected it. So which is why I'm not as shocked now the news has come out. But overall, I think Mythic. I think what it is, Mythic focused. Okay, so Mythic had Warhammer first, then they merged with BioWare for a while. BioWare did their bit of shitting on the bucket with this, and then they unmerged, and then it was just Mythic again. But after they unmerged, Mythic were like, "No, we're done with Warhammer. We'll keep the money we get. We'll just use that to make some shitty mobile iPad game." Because that's all they're doing. If you go on their website now, it says they're just making mobile games. That's all they're doing. So when they did that as well, I sort of knew then that they weren't going to do anything with Warhammer Online. They were scrapping it. So the money that was going to Mythic was just being put straight into making some crappy mobile games. So I don't think EA are just to blame for this. I think it's Mythic, BioWare, and EA. Yes, they created the game in the first place, and yes, it's a really good game, but did they look after the game? No. I think, let's look back. Warhammer Online was originally going to be Warcraft. Where if Blizzard had carried on making it, if they'd have kept the license, Blizzard had carried on making it, I think, just imagine what this game could have been, right? Because it just could have been so good. Imagine if they'd have carried on making this game. It'd be really interesting to see what it would have looked like. So it's interesting thought, I suppose, something to think about. But that's not the way it happened, unfortunately. And they lost their license, and then Mythic picked it up, or EA got it, and they did their shit stain over it. But in a way, I think. I was always saying, this game should go free to play. I hope it goes free to play. But now, when I look, I've played a lot of free to play games, okay, especially recently, and I found with the MMOs especially, I think free to play is either an extremely good thing or an extremely bad thing. So here's an example: Star Wars: The Old Republic. I think their free to play is very good. And I think it is worth subscribing to. I think their free-to-play has been very, very successful. But they started off originally as a subscription MMO, okay? Now let's look at a game which was free-to-play right from the start, although you do have to buy the game initially, and that's Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 is free-to-play. They get big content updates every 2 months or so. Every 2 weeks or so. And, but you have to buy the game right from the start, so, but it's free-to-play afterwards. That game, could it have been better if it was pay-to-play? Possibly. Guild Wars 2 is not the game for me. I tried giving it as many chances as possible, and it just wasn't. But I can't help but feel that if it was pay to play, it could have been much better. I don't know. Now let's look at the most successful of MMOs. That's World of Warcraft. Yes, numbers are declining, but it's still got like 7-8 million players strong, and that's £9 a month to play, pay to play, and it's still going strong today. And I think I prefer MMOs to be pay to play. I think if Warhammer went free to play and it added all these microtransactions and limitations, would I have stayed as a free to play or subscriber? No, I would have gone for a subscription still. But would it have been as good? I don't know. It's an interesting thought. I think overall I prefer pay to play MMOs, but you could there is no choice when an MMO's dying. You have to go free to play. There's no other way to save it. It's like a last resort. But I think Star Wars, The Old Republic, and Rift did it at the right time because they were still very popular when they went free to play. Warhammer was not popular at all. There was hardly anyone playing it. So I think them going free to play would have been a big mistake, and it would have killed the game even quicker. Now, some of you may disagree. This is just more of a personal opinion. But that's what this video is all about. It's just my personal opinion. So I'm glad in a way it didn't go free to play, and it would have been nice for it to go free to play for the last month or so. But can't have everything, I suppose. So but I hate Mythic for this. I hate EA, and I'm sure we all do. And this game, this was the first MMO game I played. It was it's not the first PC game I played, but it's the first MMO I played, and it was the first game I ever played which I got properly into. Like, I was really into this game. There's no other game before which I've played every single night, non-stop, as soon as I got home from school, as soon as I got home from work, just to play this. That would be the only game I play. I've never done that with any other game before. The only other game before that which I was close to was Dawn of War. But I'd only ever really play that like weekends or something. But Warhammer Online, that was like that was the game I'd play, and I played that straight for like 2-3 years. So, and I don't regret any of it. It was, yes, I missed out loads of games when they were coming out as well back then, but I'm happy I got into Warhammer Online. And for anyone who didn't get to experience it at its highest point, you've missed out. You've missed out on the best MMO, I think, out there. I think we can all agree. Yes, it wasn't the most balanced. Yes, it wasn't the most polished. Yes, there was loads of bugs. Yes, the developer team sucked. But I'm sorry, but it just didn't have anything. No other MMOs could match up to what it was to Warhammer Online at its high point. It was just definitely the best. Even if you don't play PvP, it was still so much fun, and it is still so much fun today. The world it's set in is just so lively. The PvP can still be fun. It's got some of the best dungeons in as well, if you can actually find a group. Balance-wise, it's not the most imbalanced MMO, considering nobody had balanced it for about 2 years. So I think it's done pretty well. And considering it hasn't had any major expansions either, I think it's done pretty well. It's lasted 5 years, basically, without any major content updates, any major balancing, any major bug fixes as well. I think for 5 years, this game has lasted pretty well, I think. So, yeah, I suppose you got to give it kudos for that. But so they're my sort of thoughts. As I said, I will be returning for 60 days from October the 18th up until Shutdown Day, which is December 18th. I doubt they've got anything special planned. There isn't even a dev team anymore, so they probably can't even do anything special. They're probably just going to get the cleaner to lean on the off switch for this one server that's left. But yeah, So I'll be returning for 60 days, and I'm really happy about that. I really cannot wait. The reason I'm not returning early is because if I activated my 60 game card now, then I would only be able to play up till like a few days before the shutdown date, and I wouldn't be able to resubscribe, so I'd miss out on that last day. So I'm waiting until it's exactly 60 days, and then I'm going to activate it. So as soon as I'm in game, I will be recording footage and hopefully get as much videos out as possible. Some old style videos, and also, you know, just I think I've got a couple of ideas of some new ideas I want to do, for some new videos as well. I'm not going to say what they are yet, but you'll just see them when they appear. But I'm looking forward to doing them. But yeah, so I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. Let's get this discussion going. If you want to leave a comment down below of what you think of this as well, and what your plans are, if you're still playing, you know, what your plans are for Shutdown, if you can do anything special. And let's go out with a bang with this game.